Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to today's session. My name is Adora Okoli. I'm the programs executive. I work as a programs executive with the Tony Elumelu Foundation. Joining me on the call today is Rodin Popo, our French translator, and we are honored to have Madam Angela Aneke on the call today. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. We're honored to have Madam Angela Aneke on the call today to facilitate this session. So we encourage every one of you to listen attentively, listen with rapt attention, and remember to share your comments and questions in the comment section on our YouTube page, as today's session on Toe Way promises to be insightful and engaging. Popo, please go ahead to translate. Thank you.
Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue une fois de plus à cette session de masterclass. Donc aujourd'hui, nous allons continuer avec le webinaire 2 sur la façon de faire de Tony. Comme à l'accoutumée, nous aurons comme facilitatrice principale Madame Angela Aneke. Over to you. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Foko, and thank you, Adora, for the introduction. So good afternoon, everyone, or maybe I should say good day, depending on what part of the world you're in. Good day, everyone, and we're going to be going through the webinar series 2 today. And maybe before I get into what we're going to be covering today, maybe you want to share with us what your recollection is of webinar series 1. So does anybody have any thoughts, any feedback, any recollections of what they learned last week? No, it was 2 weeks ago. So maybe a recap. Do you want to? Who wants to start? Foko, maybe translate that and then let's see if we can get some feedback.
Oui, avant de commencer. OK, avant de commencer, nous aimerions avoir votre avis sur le webinaire 1. Donc, s'il vous plaît, partagez votre avis dans le chat box de YouTube. Merci. Over to you.
Thank you. So looking forward to feedback.
Okay, Ma. So I'm looking through the comment section. So Comland said the ideation concept was part of what he remembered from the last session. Padins mentioned the full meaning of TOE was what he recalled from the last session. Esther Great, I learned we are to build lasting brand. Alik Israel Kamanga, last session was just perfect and eye-opening. We have another comment from Edison. He said, I was glad for last webinar on how UBA merged. I was so glad for the idea. John Bosco, Toe Way Series 1, ideas can come from anyone. We have incorporated that in my company, Ipala Global Services Limited. Onaoluwa Abimbola, her comment was, from the first lecture, I can recall that, 1, ideas can come from anyone, even customer feedback. Top tech tutors, the ideation concept, which means that idea can come from anyone at any time. Akondwa Banda, her comments, learns about the meaning of COE. Then Luke also said we learned about the achievements of Tony Elumelu. Chukwuwike Cephas, I was able to understand Theory's journey. Alex Ejike, the ideation concepts are already being implemented in my business. I think he's making reference to what he learned and how he's applying it already. Harriet, to work on your idea and make it happen was what I learned from the last session. Ellen said, on behalf of my company, we are just so glad to be here and we actually learned a lot from the last session. Merci, it was eye-opening, especially around branding. Jennifer, I learned that customer feedback is very important. But you need me to go on because we still have a lot of comments coming in.
No, it's good. And I'm glad, I like the feedback, and it clearly demonstrates that everyone recalls a lot from the session of 2 weeks ago. So I'm impressed. Thank you, class. Looking forward. Coco, do you want to translate anything, or do you have any feedback in French that you want to share?
Okay, thank you. Yes, I will begin by translating. Ok, oui, en termes de retour, il y en a qui disent qu'ils ont bien aimé l'idéation, dans le fait que l'idée peut venir de partout. Il y en a qui sont très contents de l'opération de fusion, ce qu'ils ont appris de l'opération de fusion, tel que Tony l'a partagé. Donc, des avis qu'on a reçus, il y en a aussi qui ont parlé du fait que c'était une session parfaite qui a ouvert leurs yeux, qui les a bien aidés en termes de business. Donc voilà globalement. From French, I think I have nothing yet now, please.
Okay. Foco, you may want to mute the background voices we're hearing. You may want to do that. So class, just to welcome you again to the webinar series 2. And today we're going to be covering human capital, culture, rewarding performance and performance management, institutionalization and governance. Hard work leads to productivity, having a sense of urgency, meeting deadlines, having a can-do spirit, decisiveness, effective meetings, getting things done, results-driven, being results-driven, and execution. So let's get started. So the first section, like I said, on human capital, culture, rewarding performance, and performance management. So as usual, we start with quotes from TOE. TOE says, talents I don't have, I don't regret. I surround myself with people who have them. He says, leaders don't do it alone. Assemble co-travelers, so identify talent and then help them discover themselves. It says everything about achieving results depends on people. He says one wrong hire and you can deviate from your strategic intent. Have people in the right jobs and ensure there is proper alignment. One of the toughest decisions I make is placing people. Putting round pegs in round holes is critical. People need to be placed in their natural habitat. When I get a hire wrong, I go back to the candidate's file to see where I got it wrong. When hiring, if negotiation with a candidate takes too long, it is best to pass. Going on, some more quotes from TOE. It says, performance management is key. We are a merit-driven organization. Wrong cultural values can kill an organization. Have a culture of excellence and quality. Emphasize quality in everything you do. Says, I think we must know that you are what and how you project yourself. You are who you say you are. It is the soul of an organization. You will remember this quote from 2 weeks ago when we talked about branding. It is what really defines an organization. Excellence is very important. Excellence should be sustainable. And for it to be sustainable, there are certain foundational pillars that we need to put in place. 2 things: processes and the kind of values we uphold, the kind of culture we preach, the way we manifest both inside and outside of who we truly are or who we aspire to be. So those are some quotes. And then going on human capital and culture, she says, I'm dedicating the rest of this. So let me provide some background to this. So this quote that I've introduced here, You will recall that earlier this year on March, I think it's March 8th, is Women's Day, International Women's Day. And I got this quote from Thierry's post that day. And if you recall, the theme for this year was on inclusion and gender diversity, inspiring inclusion and gender diversity. So this is what Thierry posted that day. He says, I'm dedicating the rest of this month to celebrating women, from my mom to my wife, sisters, the Hares Holdings Group female CEOs, directors, and female colleagues. You have all been impactful in my life story and business. I have been influenced by women all through my life, and always positively. I am and will be a strong advocate for inclusion in every area of life. I have witnessed firsthand the impact of investing in, working with, and learning from women. For us, gender inclusion is in our DNA. We believe that together we can create a future where individuals, regardless of gender, can achieve their full potential and contribute to a more equitable and prosperous world. So I saw this quote and I thought it was so relevant for what we're talking about in terms of human capital and culture. Inspiring inclusion and gender diversity is such an integral part of that. And so this quote I thought was very instructive in the conversation that we're having today. Moving on, what does the literature say? Culture is about collective values, beliefs, etc. In terms of hiring right, ensure that you conduct structured interviews and include key people. Hire smart, put round pegs in round holes, and have an organizational match with your skills match and your job match, and ensure that the person you're hiring, matches the organization, the job, and the skills you're looking for. Hire wisely, check references, measure performance. What gets measured gets done, and rewarding performance. In terms of an example, just to recap, remember that what the format for this webinar is basically, I'll give you some quotes from Thierry. I'll give you, what the literature says about the specific business value, and then give you an example where possible. So in this case, an example of rewarding performance, if you recall, STB was a turnaround, it was a turnaround bank. Thierry had acquired the distressed Crystal Bank and turned it around. So there were high rewards for customer acquisition, because the organization was distressed. They were in a turnaround mood. And someone signed up Western Union and got a BMW, and someone's got a sports car for signing up a major customer. So this is an example of rewarding performance. And, in terms of, inspiring inclusion and gender diversity, recall from the, what I said Thierry posted on March 8th, I think it was this year, almost 50% of UBA board are women, so this is putting money where our mouth is regarding inclusion and gender diversity. 8 female CEOs in the UBA group, 40% of the Hares Holdings CEOs are women. And the Tony Elumelu Foundation has disbursed $40 million to support female entrepreneurs across 54 African countries. So, this is significant when it comes to inclusion and gender diversity. In terms of food for thought, Thierry says performance is very strategic for business success. As an entrepreneur and as a business leader, I found that performance is one of the essential tools for success. As an entrepreneur and a business leader, you start with a vision, you come up with strategies for executing the vision, you assemble the people who will execute the strategies, then you let the people know what success entails. So it's vision, strategy, people, and then performance criteria. If you fail to reward appropriately, in the long run, you will not grow a sustainable business. It's like a chain. If you do not reward, people will not deliver. If people do not deliver, there's no business. have embraced rewarding performance as it is a very important leadership tool for getting things done. So this is the first set of business values that I wanted to go over today. Human capital, culture, rewarding performance, and performance management. So I'll let Foko translate all that I've said today on that. And I would like to hear from all of you, examples of any of these aspects that we've talked about, and or any comments or feedback on that. Thank you. Foko, over to you.
OK, thank you. Donc, pour aujourd'hui, nous allons aborder le capital humain, la culture, la récompense de la performance et la performance dans la gestion. OK, pour ce qui concerne le capital humain et la culture, Tony, nous avons ce passage. Le talent, je ne l'ai pas, mais je ne regrette pas. Je m'entoure des personnes qui en ont. Il dit, le leader ne travaille pas seul, mais il rassemble des personnes pour travailler avec lui. Donc, il dit, c'est important d'identifier les talents et les aider à se découvrir eux-mêmes. Tout est dans l'accomplissement des résultats et ça dépend des personnes. Bon, je ne vais pas tout relater. Et à la fin, il dit, pour recruter, il est important de négocier avec le candidat. Aussi long que mettre les négociations, aussi bien ça compte. Donc, quand on veut recruter des personnes humaines, il faut prendre le temps de bien étudier. Donc, il nous parle aussi que la performance dans la gestion est la clé qui permet de guider une organisation. Il dit une mauvaise culture d'entreprise va tuer votre organisation. Et la culture doit toujours être basée sur l'excellence et la qualité. Toujours être focus sur tout ce qui permet de bien travailler. Donc, et il pense que le projet dépend toujours de son leader. Et vous devez toujours faire ce que vous dites. Ça, c'est l'âme de l'organisation. Et ça permet de définir les réalités de l'organisation. L'excellence est très important et permet d'avoir des piliers fondamentaux et durables qui sont nécessaires. Et ça doit être mis en place au sein d'une entreprise. Deux choses comptent. Ce sont les process et la qualité des valeurs qu'on met au sein d'une entreprise. Donc, je vais avancer. Et pour ce qui concerne il nous a pris un exemple des valeurs qu'il a acquises de sa maman. Il dit, durant une fête de la femme, à propos concernant sa maman, sa sœur et sa femme, bref, autour d'un groupe de femmes et des collègues, il dit, c'est toujours important de raconter des histoires importantes et impactantes dans le monde des affaires parce que les femmes ont beaucoup influencé dans sa vie et toujours positivement. Et ça compte énormément dans l'inclusion, surtout dans son plaidoyer, globalement dans sa vie. Il dit, tenir compte de l'égalité genre est dans son ADN parce qu'il faut toujours glorifier la femme. Et on fait mieux en donnant quelques statistiques, quelques faits réels. Il dit par exemple qu'à UBA, 50% du staff, ce sont les femmes. Il y a 8 femmes parmi les directeurs du groupe UBA et que 40% des directeurs généraux de Hair Holding, donc de sa holding, ce sont des femmes. Donc, on peut dire que Tony tient beaucoup compte de l'égalité genre. Et il dit qu'il y a pratiquement 40 millions de dollars qui ont été mis à disposition des femmes dans les 54 pays dans le cadre du programme de la Tony Lumulu Foundation. Donc, voilà des valeurs que Tony partage avec nous et qui sont importantes que vous puissiez noter. Bon, pour ce qui concerne, il dit globalement que la culture est collective autant que les croyances. Et pour finir, il nous prend 2 exemples. Bon, je ne vais pas les citer. Alors, Pour sortir, il dit la performance est très stratégique pour la réussite en affaires. Et un entrepreneur doit être un leader en termes d'affaires. C'est quelqu'un qui doit toujours rechercher la performance, qui est l'essentiel comme outil pour le succès. Il répète, un entrepreneur, c'est un leader qui doit avoir une vision dès le début et qui doit pouvoir mettre en place des stratégies et comment est-ce que implémenter cette vision, rassembler les gens autour de lui pour exécuter toutes ces stratégies. Et c'est avec ces personnes-là qu'on va atteindre le succès. Il dit, si par contre on ne reconnaît pas ce que les gens font, on sera voué à l'échec. Il faut toujours tenir compte de la durabilité dans les affaires. C'est comme la chaîne de valeur. Si on oublie de récompenser quelqu'un, une personne dans son entreprise, ça peut impacter dans les performances de l'entreprise. Et ce qui est important à noter, c'est que le leadership est l'outil que tout le monde doit pouvoir utiliser. Donc, je pense que j'ai fait le tour. Over to you, madame. Donc, si vous avez des feedbacks, des commentaires, nous sommes preneurs dans le chat box de YouTube. Merci.
Thanks. So, Adora, any feedback, any comments?
Yes,
Thank
there
you.
are comments and feedback.
Okay,
So,
good.
Mary Adiliki said, I used to reward my staff every month aside their wages and anytime someone do exceptionally well. Harriet, a comment, we need people to work with and rewarding is also good. Luke said, when employees are rewarded for their hard work and achievements, it boosts their morale and encourages them to maintain or improve their performance. It shows that their contributions are valued. Ida Abalu, it is important to be intentional about gender inclusion and diversity in my organization. Abugri Mary, reward brings out the inner best of people. Doshi House Cleaning Services. He said, you earn loyalty and availability of a wage employee before a business becomes fully capable of permanent and contract employees. I think he's trying to ask a question. Okay, Lusungu Kapira. It is very important to reward your workers when they have done well, and this really helps them to work very hard and make your business go far. Natalie Soti, a reward is like a form of motivation for employees to perform well. Odutola's comment, that's a great one. If you don't reward people, people will not deliver. And if people do not deliver, there will be no success. Kudos. Well, Gania from Nigeria. Happiness. Thank you. This is very insightful. Reward help boost the performance of employees. So I think that's basically it from the entrepreneur. Okay, Vachia said, I have learned that rewarding is an important tool for success. I will embrace it in my business career. Then Oha said, vision, strategy, and then performance criteria are what I learned from this session. Gloria, today I have learned that even though I am a woman, I can be an influencer. Thank you, Ma.
Thanks, great. Foko?
OK, donc nous avons eu quelques retours que je vais traduire. Donc nous avons quelqu'un qui dit il récompense toujours son staff, ses cadres, parce que c'est très important dans l'évolution de l'entreprise et ça les encourage. Donc, bien récompenser est quelque chose d'essentiel au cours d'une entreprise. Donc, globalement, ça tournait autour de ça. Now, in French, I have someone who just said it is Sam Djembeni Abdullah Zizou. Moi, je trouve vrai et très intuitif toutes ces affirmations. He's telling that for him, it is true and very good, all those assumptions. So that's all for French. Thank you.
Ma, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. I was saying, Foco, please, we're hearing some background voices when you speak. Maybe you want to address that, please. But I had a follow-up. Thank you all for your comments. I have a follow-up question. So I'd like to also hear about you guys, because you guys are startups. So it'd be interesting to hear from you about your recruitment. We talked about hiring right, hiring smart. TOE, a lot of the quotes I gave were around what TOE does about hiring. So what experience have you guys had on hiring, and how can you apply it to what you've learned today on the TOE way?
Foco, please also translate for the French listeners.
Oui, nous aimerions avoir votre avis sur le recrutement. S'il vous plaît, on aimerait savoir quelle est votre impression par rapport à ces propos sur le recrutement. On vous attend de vous lire.
Thank you. Okay, so we're still waiting for comments. So you can drop your comments on the question Madam Angela has asked. She said, what has been your experience on hiring? So we have a comment from Miracle. It said, gender diversity and inclusion are very important factors in today's society. So I think he's referring to the previous question. So please drop your comments. We're expecting your comments in the comments box. You can also drop it in French and Coco will read that out loud. Okay, so we have a comment from Gloria. On my own as a manager, I cannot do what I need to surround myself with a skillful team. Okay, Elijah said, I had a bad experience hiring my family member to be my secretary. She wasn't punctual at all. Ellen, I had a challenge with hiring, especially on the technical part. And trust me, it has always backfired. I think referrals are important. That is what I have learned. Oh, I think referees are important. That is what I have learned. Okay, Pauline said, not just hiring to fill a position, but put the right person in the right placement. This was the toughest for me as a manager. Elijah, I had a bad experience. Okay, I think I read this already. Cecilia, as a startup, it's quite hard to locate the exact expertise you need, but surely getting the right recruit is a game changer for a startup. Thank you, Ma. Fadikemi, my husband has hired people that support his machines, and today I have learned the right ways to hire the right people. Thank you, Madam Angela. Janice, yes, hiring has been an issue, and getting the right person has been hard. But I got one who is very hardworking and ready to learn and work more. Sarah, as a founder of women-only tech company, Celestial Crafters, our hiring process has been smooth, great team to work with, but then being fully remote, it's a bit challenging due to time zones. Okay, so I think that's all for now. Coco, please, you can translate the French.
Great feedback. So everybody has had a bit of a challenge hiring, and I thought it was important. That's why I brought it up. I thought it was important because you guys are all startups. So hiring, getting your team right at the beginning and getting tips from TOE as to how to go about recruitment, I thought was also important. So because he said your whole success is dependent on people. So getting the right people in place is critical for your success. So it's good to get your feedback. Foco, over to you.
OK, donc, nous avons un certain nombre de réactions et il y a un entrepreneur qui dit qu'il avait eu à recruter un membre de sa famille et que cette personne était toujours en retard. Donc, ce n'était pas pour lui une bonne expérience. Donc, il y a quelqu'un d'autre qui a dit qu'il a toujours eu des difficultés à recruter, mais que finalement, il a réussi à recruter un employé qui était vraiment un bosseur. Ça, il a beaucoup apprécié. Voilà sa part d'expérience. Maintenant, madame nous dit que, justement, si elle vous demande de faire ses commentaires, C'est parce qu'il est important que vous compreniez que le processus de recrutement est important et vous devez prendre soin lorsque vous recrutez des personnes. OK, as French feedback, nous avons HKB qui dit particulièrement, je mise aussi beaucoup sur la performance des femmes. Elles ont très souvent un sens des affaires très affirmé. Okay, it is HKB who said, particularly, I count a lot on women competence, women skill, because they mostly have a sense of business, and it is very, very clear. Thank you. That is all.
So Foka, no feedback on recruiting?
No, I am not there. I always say merci beaucoup, Monsieur Foucault. There is not a lot of French feedback.
Okay. So thank you all for your feedback. Let's go on to the next set of business values: institutionalization and governance. And TOE says you need the operating software that will make the system work in a certain manner. Says, looking, if you remember this next quote that I'm going to be talking about, this is one of the quotes that I used to introduce the TOE way at the beginning a couple of weeks ago. It says, looking back, I find that there's a certain work ethic, a certain way that I do business, which has contributed to my achievements. I would like these business values institutionalized for posterity, which is why we're here. It says you must institutionalize, build to last, have a mindset of, I'm in this business forever. I want this business to be intergenerational. Put structures in place to institutionalize. Businesses hardly go beyond a generation in Africa. This is not good. We need to think legacy, think sustainability, think how to institutionalize. If we think like this, we will build to last. It says 100 years from now, I want this institution to be one that has achieved great success because it was built to last. And Thierry goes on to say, to build to last, you must have strong corporate governance. Without strong corporate governance, you cannot build to last. Governance is key to succession planning. And maybe I want to take some, okay, let me finish and then I'll go back to a question. So as an example, let's use Transco as an example. So when Hess Holdings made a strategic investment in Transco in 2011, Transco had not produced annual accounts for years. They had unreconciled shares, 99 court cases, it never paid a dividend. The share price, was 50 kobo. Today the share price is 11 naira. There, not today, maybe I didn't check this week, but approximately 11 naira. Transport Hotels is approximately 95 naira. Transport Power is now listed. It was listed this year, and it's now about 373 naira. And so what did Hess Holdings do? So Hess Holdings created internal awareness on governance, on internal mobilization, internal cohesion, ensured that there were corporate governance sessions that were organized for the directors of Transco PLC and its subsidiaries. It got the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Nigerian Stock Exchange to come to the session and give talks. Corporate governance charters were developed. The tone at the top was set in terms of zero tolerance for non-compliance. Annual reports were produced, AGMs were held. First dividend was paid in 2014. In 2014, Transco, Nigerian Stock Exchange, awarded Transco the most compliant company on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. In 2023, Transco PLC and Transco Hotels were named the top 10 best performing stocks on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So this is a great accomplishment, and it's all based, on corporate governance, institutionalization, and at the end of the day, building to last. Thierry says, if you have the best policies, etc., and you do not have the right CEO, who's the chief custodian to enforce it, then it will not work. Policy is necessary, but not a sufficient condition. So that's all the background on governance and institutionalization. But I wanted to hear from you. What do you know corporate governance to be? What is corporate governance to you? And how are you going about institutionalizing in your organizations? How are you going about building to last? I'd like to get your feedback on that. So, Foko, over to you.
OK, thank you. Donc, notre deuxième aspect de la journée, c'est l'institutionnalisation et la gouvernance. Donc, Tony partage avec nous un certain nombre d'idées, comme par exemple que nous avons besoin d'un logiciel opérationnel pour faire un système d'une certaine façon. Et il dit, quand il regarde en arrière, il a travaillé avec une certaine éthique. Il a travaillé dans les affaires avec une certaine éthique. Et lui, il aimerait, et cette éthique a contribué à ses accomplissements. Et il aimerait donc que cela soit institutionnalisé pour la postérité. Souvenez-vous, c'est quelque chose qu'on vous avait dit dans le début. C'est d'ailleurs ça qui a fait l'objet de cette Toe Way. Il dit, il est important de institutionnaliser, bâtir pour la durée, avoir cette façon de penser. Et vos affaires vont être pour toujours. Donc, il faudrait que son affaire, ses business soient intergénérationnels. Et pour cela, il faut mettre en place une façon, il faut structurer l'institutionnalisation. Et il dit, généralement, les affaires en Afrique ne traversent pas une génération. Et ça, c'est un problème. Ce n'est pas bien. Nous devons penser à l'héritage. Nous devons penser durable. Nous devons penser comment institutionnaliser. Et de cette façon, on pourra construire pour la durée. Et il dit, des années, donc des centaines d'années à partir d'aujourd'hui, il aimerait que ces œuvres se perpétuent. Et c'est ça qui formera le succès. Donc, il faut bâtir pour que ça dure. Alors, concernant la gouvernance, Tony nous dit, pour bâtir, afin que ça dure, il faut de la gouvernance. Il faut une gouvernance solide. Il dit, sans une gouvernance solide, on ne peut pas bâtir pour la durée. La gouvernance est la clé pour le plan de succession. Alors, en termes d'exemple de gouvernance, nous allons prendre le cas de Transcorp. Donc, en fait, Tony partage avec nous qu'en 2011, lorsqu'il rachète Transcorp, lorsque Hair Holding rachète Transcorp, ils font un investissement vraiment stratégique. Alors, ils ont trouvé une entreprise qui n'avait pas produit des comptes annuels durant plusieurs années. Une entreprise qui n'avait même pas une idée exacte des participations, il veut dire de qui est propriétaire de l'entreprise, de la capitalisation. Ils avaient, en plus de cela, 99 affaires en justice. Et Transcorp n'avait jamais payé les dividendes. Alors, qu'est-ce que Hair Holding a fait? Hair Holding a créé un système de veille sur la gouvernance, la mobilisation interne et la cohésion interne. C'est-à-dire qu'il a permis aux actionnaires de se comprendre, d'être tolérants, de travailler ensemble, de s'accepter. Et il a aussi mis en place une charte de la gouvernance qui a permis de développer un système de zéro tolérance et que tout le monde doit rester dans la conformité. À base de ces fondamentaux, il y a eu les rapports annuels qui ont été produits et les premiers dividendes ont été payés en 2014, donc 3 ans plus tard. Comme pour dire, c'est une restructuration qui a duré 3 ans. Au point où en 2014, la bourse du Nigeria a récompensé Tony comme étant l'une des meilleures entreprises de la bourse du Nigeria. Donc, vous pouvez comprendre tout ce qu'il a eu à faire comme boulot. Donc, pour résumer, ce qu'on retient, c'est qu'il faut bâtir dans le durable. Il faut bâtir pour que ça dure. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on a comme pensée pour la route? Il faut avoir de bonnes politiques. Et and you do not have and you do not have the right. Et si on n'a pas une bonne direction générale, un bon chef qui conduit, ça va être difficile que ça marche. Et il dit pour conclure, les politiques sont nécessaires, mais ne sont pas des conditions suffisantes. Donc voilà globalement. Maintenant, on attend vos feedbacks par rapport à la gouvernance et tout ce qu'on vient de partager. Merci.
So feedback, Adora?
Okay, Ma. We have feedback from Ibrahim Musa. Corporate governance refers to the process of managing and decision-making within an organization or network of organizations that is owned, controlled by its members who share resources/benefits. Kamau, corporate governance to us at Celestial Crafters is essential for ensuring transparency, accountability, and long-term success. Terry said, let me be vulnerable and admit it's difficult. It's difficult to institutionalize corporate governance. However, we are committed in building to last. Made Here Africa, we are building a culture around our corporate governance efforts. All new hires or anyone who interfaces with our company is introduced to a standardized process of handling issues or service delivery. Taribo, the importance of institutionalization and building to last has made an impact on our business and the economy. Pauline Precious, working in line with the government requirements in guiding our business. Emefesi, we have structured our company with various responsibilities and offices alongside policies that govern our activities. In addition, we have a succession plan in place. Dal and Trust is Django. I am on a mission to replicate myself and long-term spirit in my staff through monthly orientation program in my company. Cara Blaze, corporate governance is the system by which my company is directed and controlled, focusing on transparency, accountability, and balancing stakeholders' interests. Lucky said, corporate governance entails engaging and empowering people with the right knowledge to run and take day-to-day decisions for companies' growth. Mary Adeleke, if the wrong CEOs are in an organization, things will not work. Hence, corporate governance will turn corporate governance around and lead to a downturn of the business. And Modesta, corporate governance is a situation where companies are directed and controlled. Sylvia said it is important to have corporate governance in place and also to have the best policies and best team to implement the governance. So I think most of them are more like explaining or defining corporate governance. Thank you. Foko, please, you can read out the French.
No, which is what I wanted. So they gave good feedback, excellent feedback, actually. Some definitions, some saying how they've applied it, some saying what the challenges are, really good feedback. Thanks for that. For startups, well done. Over to you, Foko.
OK, thank you. Donc, nous avons un certain nombre de retours. Il y en a qui pensent que lorsqu'on bâtit pour la durée, ça crée un grand impact au sein de l'entreprise. Une autre personne dit il a eu à structurer son entreprise et il a mis une bonne gouvernance. Il a mis une gouvernance, ce qui fait que globalement, il a un bon plan de succession. Donc, un autre entrepreneur dit il a eu à partager toutes ses idées de long terme avec son staff et tout se passe très bien. L'autre a parlé de la transparence et la fiabilité qu'il a mis au sein de son entreprise. Un autre nous parle que si on a un mauvais DG, il va de soi que rien ne marchera. Donc, on a aussi l'autre qui parle qui dit lorsqu'on met en place une gouvernance, ça permet lorsqu'on met en place une gouvernance, ça permet de mieux diriger et de contrôler le fonctionnement de l'entreprise. OK, concernant French feedback, we have Jacob. OK, il y a Jacob Yarigo qui dit la bonne gouvernance s'instaure. C'est une habitude qui crée la bonne gouvernance. OK. Et donc, Riva Backup dit une bonne hiérarchie est vraiment importante pour construire un empire. Si une entreprise veut aller loin, il faudrait que son organigramme soit impeccable. Okay, another feedback before I translate in English. Donc, nous avons Roméo Bohunton qui dit dans toute organisation, il faut une gouvernance bien établie, avec les responsabilités bien définies, sans quoi l'entreprise va chavirer inéluctablement. Okay, the last feedback in French. Nous avons Shairei Saïd. Les femmes sont talentueuses et très compétentes, sauf qu'elles ont beaucoup d'empêchements naturels, comme par exemple les congés de maternité. Le mieux est d'avoir toujours un stagiaire à côté d'une femme. OK, merci pour cette séance d'information. OK, now I can go in French, in English. We have Shairi Said who said that women are very good skill and talent, but they have some natural default like maternity and so other. Then he proposed that with any woman in a company, you should join an intern for an internship. Let's say like that. Okay, the other point is that Romeo Bouton said that in each organization, we need governance to establish responsibilities. Without what, a company is going to fall down. Okay, last one is from Jacob Yarigo, who said that good governance have to be installed in a company. That habit is good for the governance. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you all so much for your feedback. Let's move on. Next set of business values. So hard work leads to productivity, sense of urgency, meeting deadlines, having a can-do spirit, decisiveness, effective meetings, getting things done, being results-driven, and execution. So these are the last set of business values for this webinar too. Some quotes from TOE. TOE says, discipline, hard work, sacrifice are what make a successful entrepreneur. Success does not come on a platter. You have to work hard to be successful. You have to be disciplined and you have to make sacrifices. I work very hard and demand no less from people who work with me. He goes on to say, on embracing hard work, discipline, and sacrifice, he says, I realized growing up that the way to get to the top is to go the extra mile. Tell yourself that there's no way to get there if you don't work hard. Have the discipline to say no to things that don't serve you and sacrifice now for future rewards. If you work hard and are disciplined, you will get what you desire in life. I don't know how many of you have read the book Outliers, but here are some quotes from Outliers, the true story of success. It says, the idea that excellence at performing a complex task requires a critical minimum level of practice surfaces again and again in studies of expertise. In fact, researchers have settled on what they believe is the magic number for true expertise, which is 10,000 hours. So 10,000 hours of practice is required to achieve the level of mastery associated with being a world-class expert in anything. So all this is doing is buttressing the fact that hard work pays, and hard work leads to productivity, and it is defined, and hard work is defined 10,000 hours as the level of productivity. You have to, that level of hard work that will lead to your mastery. In terms of the literature, hard work the 10,000 hour rule. So if you all haven't read the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, I will enjoin you to do so. The 10,000 hour rule, the magic number for true expertise and mastery. And then diligence is no better quote than the quote from the Bible, which says, "Seest thou a man diligent in his work, he will stand before kings." This is a quote I often refer to on TOE because he's very diligent, very hardworking, and often stands before presidents and kings. Moving on, having a sense of urgency and meeting deadlines. A sense of urgency is working as if one's life depends on it. So that's key. Make sure you get things done quickly, excel and accomplish more than others. Ensure that have a sense of urgency is also one of the best ways to meet deadlines. Remember, this whole session is about productivity. High achievers and leaders tend to have more of a sense of urgency than most people. So, have that attitude of a sense of urgency, work as if your life depends on it, and have a can-do spirit. A can-do spirit, don't take no for an answer. Nothing is impossible. Impossible is nothing. Be confident and resourceful in the face of challenges, marked by a willingness to tackle a job and get it done. An attitude that doesn't have can't in their language. So these are some of the elements of having a can-do spirit. A person with a positive outlook, one who is undaunted. You don't look down on opportunities or gripe about anything. You just go for it. Have a can-do spirit. Very, very critical. Decisiveness. Theory says leaders must be decisive. Posterity can forgive you for making a wrong decision. Posterity will not forgive you for not making a decision. So, and then he goes on to say, everyone deserves a response and on a timely basis. Leaders should give an answer of yes or no within 24 hours. And, it's not only about getting, remember this whole session is about hard work leads to productivity, getting things done. And the literature talks about, a guide to getting the right work done. So it's not just working for working's sake, making sure you get the right work done. And the literature talks about writing a to-do list, break down your tasks, put a self-imposed deadline on yourself, start a project on time, manage your energy, etc. So this is some of the things that the literature says about getting the right work done. Effective meetings. So this is excerpt from the book Power Vision, Insights on Tony Elumelu. I actually wrote this. It says, I wrote this quote that I'm referring to here. It is impossible to work directly with Theory without meetings. Meetings are the platform through which his management by consensus style plays out. It is also through meetings that he energizes the organization. Remember we talked about consensus last time. And so meetings are the platform through which his management by consensus plays out. Meeting a way of getting things done is what the literature says. Share information, get acceptance of ideas, solve problems, plan projects, review performance, make decisions, align interests, and resolve conflicting viewpoints. So these are all the benefits of meeting. It's a platform for sharing information, getting acceptance of ideas, solving problems, planning projects, and in a startup, this is something that's meetings is definitely very important to you. And the literature goes on to say that meetings are only as effective as a leader. As a skilled meeting leader, you can get more done in less time, increase teamwork, and demonstrate your ability to get results. So Thierry has this skill of meetings, and I would urge you all to develop that skill. It's very, very beneficial. And then, so we're talking about effective leaders. and in an effective meeting leaders brings the whole concept of leadership and getting results done. Empathy is key to a great meeting. This is what the literature says. Develop key emotional intelligence. Empathy allows you to read what is going on, and self-management helps you to move the group to a mood that supports getting things done and happiness. So how you lead the meeting, how you lead the team is also very important in terms of getting, having a great meeting and getting results. Remember, we're just using meetings as a platform for getting things done, and being how you're an effective leader to get, make sure you have a great meeting. So there are different leadership styles: coercive, authoritative, etc. But leadership is situational. We must all remember that. And so in terms of the literature on having effective meetings, analyze your purpose and set clear objectives, invite the right people to the meeting, distribute pre-work early, set an agenda and distribute it in advance. Say to yourself, this is what you want to achieve at the meeting. Set ground rules, manage interpersonal dynamics, ensure people do not dominate the conversation, ensure you get input from people who are quiet, follow up, so at the end of the day, these are what your objectives are. Who does what when is something that you must leave the meeting with in terms of your action items. Pick the right location for the meeting. And, today we have meetings virtually. So determine when a meeting is a virtual meeting or when it's a physical meeting. At the end of the day, you want to achieve results. Take notes. Make sure someone is writing down key points, because at the end of the day for the meeting, the bottom line is who does what when. You must come up with that at the end of the day. This just goes on to, about leadership styles and having group consensus. Make every meeting matter or don't meet at all, so there's some things you can send by email, you can get some feedback by email, but make sure the meeting matters. Like I said earlier, Toe Way uses meetings as a learning platform. So there are many benefits to meetings. Defining your goals, own your meeting. This is just repeating the same, so I won't go into that. As I said earlier, close with a plan of action. Who does what when? Again, don't meet if you can send an email, send a memo, set objectives, summary, provide an agenda beforehand, assign meeting preparation, assign action items, examine your meeting process. See, I'm just going through the meetings because like I said, meetings are a platform that Toe Way uses for getting things done. So, the whole skill of having an effective meeting is important, and developing that skill and knowing what the essence of meetings are and how you can make your meetings more effective is also critical, which is why I was sharing the literature on running effective meetings. And at the end of the day, it's all about execution. Execution, the carrying out of a plan, order, or course of action is what the literature says. Execution is about getting things done. Execution, decisions and activities you undertake in order to turn your implemented strategy into commercial success. So, you've all come up with your strategy, or you've all come up with your business plan, or in the process of doing so. And at the end of the day, we're just giving you tools to enable you get things done. To achieve execution excellence is to realize the best possible results a strategy and its implementation will allow. So strategy, implementation, and execution involve thinking and doing, deciding and acting, planning and producing. I love that. I got this in the literature. So think and do. Remember, Toe Way had said think and do, decide and act, plan and produce. If that will help you remember from the literature. And in terms of how to execute your strategy from the literature, it says set clear priorities, collect and analyze your data, keep a rhythm to meetings, continuous meetings, and evaluate your strategy. Okay, so in summary, food for thought from Toe Way, he says action at the speed of thought, Execution is the art of getting things done. Execution is about discipline, focus on outcomes, a bit of planning in the form of these questions are some tips on execution. First, you need to ask yourself, what am I supposed to do? Then, is there clarity? Do I understand what I'm supposed to do? What resources do I need to do it? In what time frame am I required to get this done? Thierry says, I don't reward effort. I reward accomplishment. I reward people who accomplish results. And I believe that people must work hard. So it's not either or for me. You have to do both, the genius of art. Thank you. So over to Foko to translate all that I've said. And then we'll take comments and feedback on this last section, which was, remember, it's all about hard work leads to productivity, sense of urgency, meeting deadlines, having a can-do spirit, being decisive, having effective meetings, getting things done, being results-driven, and execution. So quite a bit, but they all focus on executing your strategy. So over to you, Foko.
OK, thank you, Ma. Donc, nous allons maintenant aborder la dernière partie de ce webinaire où on va essentiellement le sens du travail, l'esprit de faire, la décision, les réunions efficaces, avoir les choses bien faites, être orienté au résultat et l'exécution. Alors, pour ce qui est du travail bien fait pour la productivité, Tony nous dit la discipline, le travail dur, le sacrifice est ce qui fait réussir un entrepreneur. Il dit le succès ne se sert pas sur un plateau. Nous devons travailler très ardemment pour le succès. On doit être discipliné et savoir faire des sacrifices. Alors, travailler très dur demande no less from people who work. OK, donc il faut travailler très dur et ne pas laisser les paresseux nous emporter. Donc, l'autre chose, c'est qu'il demande d'embrasser toujours le travail de la discipline et le sens de sacrifice. Il dit qu'il a réalisé que pour faire des choses exceptionnelles et être toujours au top, il a fallu qu'il fasse plusieurs kilomètres. Donc, vous allez comprendre ça par la suite. Et il dit tout ce qu'on doit faire doit être fait avec assez d'énergie, donc travailler très ardemment. Avoir le sens de la discipline est quelque chose qui nous sert et le sacrifice actuel n'est qu'une récompense pour le futur. Si on ne travaille pas très ardemment et si on n'est pas discipliné, on n'aura pas ce qu'on désire dans notre vie. Donc voilà quelques citations de Tony. Alors, concernant le livre Outlier, la vraie histoire du succès. Donc, dans ce livre qu'on estime que vous avez lu, l'auteur parle de la magie des nombres et il parle de 10 000 heures. Il dit en principe, chaque temps que vous ferez 10 000 heures sur un sujet, vous devenez expert dans ce sujet-là. Voilà globalement ce qu'on tire de ce succès à la page 62, de ce livre à la page 62. La vraie histoire de succès, Outlier, c'est le titre du livre. Et concernant, pour finir avec le travail, tout ce que vous ferez en y mettant 10 heures, pardon, 10 000 heures, vous serez un expert. C'est ça la magie du nombre. L'auteur, c'est Malcolm. OK, concernant le sens et les réunions efficaces, il dit le sens de l'urgence est une attitude clé qui permet pour les affaires et sur le plan personnel de ne pas dépendre de tout le monde, bien de n'importe qui. Vous devez être déterminé et très fort sur le résultat, surtout tenir compte des délais. Nos résultats en deadline ont-ils? OK, donc toujours travailler jusqu'au résultat, même si les délais peuvent être hypothéqués. Alors, toujours concernant le sens de l'urgence et les délais pour les réunions, il parle de la signification, le bénéfice, les considérations et les différents effets. Je ne vais pas particulièrement traîner sur cette partie. Maintenant, pour l'esprit du faire, je peux le faire. Il dit qu'il faut être très confiant et être engagé face à des challenges, face à des défis ou bien des difficultés. Nous devons avoir une attitude ou bien une façon de penser de « je peux le faire ». C'est ça qui est important. Et il dit, une personne qui est positive a toujours les aptitudes pour accomplir les tâches, quelle que soit la tâche. Donc, notre langage doit tenir compte d'une seule chose. Je peux le faire. Et on doit avoir confiance afin de pouvoir accomplir les tâches et atteindre les objectifs. Il signale qu'une personne qui refuse de faire est quelqu'un qui a déjà échoué. Il faut toujours avoir confiance en soi. Et lorsqu'on a confiance en soi, on a normalement les aptitudes pour accomplir les tâches ou résoudre, quel que soit le niveau de difficulté. Alors, restons toujours sur le pied de « je peux le faire ». OK. Concernant le sens de la décision, il dit décisif. Oui. Il dit les décisions, les fortes décisions. Et l'avenir est fait de tout ce qu'on a fait en étant ferme lorsque nous avons pris des décisions. Et il dit aussi, chaque personne peut être décisif dans ce qu'il fait. Leader should give an answer. OK. Et il précise aussi que, Tony précise que un bon de dire oui ou non en 24 heures pour une décision. Chaque on dit vous devez être décisif. Alors, pour ce qui concerne le comment faire, comment bien faire les choses, il nous partage un guide. Dans ce guide-là, par exemple, il recommande qu'on doit toujours faire une liste, ce qu'on appelle en anglais le to-do list. Donc, toujours, chaque matin, avoir une liste de ce qu'il faut faire. Donc, la liste à cocher. Et quand vous faites quelque chose, vous cochez. Et que toute chose doit être définie de façon en tâche spécifique. Aussitôt que vous faites une tâche, vous la cochez et vous avez là de s'imposer des délais, de tracer. Donc, de temps en temps, monitorer, donc veiller à ce qu'on avait à faire. Il demande aussi de troisième chose, de commencer les projets à temps et de bien surtout avoir un permet que le projet est suivi. Et dans cette condition, quatrième chose, il dit, ça permet émotionnel, mental, spirituel, bref, tout ça doit être fait. Alors, pour ce qui est des réunions efficaces, les personnes qui ont travaillé avec Tony savent que c'est quelqu'un qui est champion des réunions. Donc, Tony est toujours en réunion. Et comme vous le savez, son style de réunion, c'est le management par le consensus. Donc, lui tient toujours compte des avis de tout le monde au sein de la réunion et capitalise les énergies de l'organisation. Alors, quels sont les secrets pour qu'une réunion soit efficace et surtout que les choses soient bien faites? Il partage avec nous 7 choses, comme par exemple partager l'information, accepter les idées de tout le monde. La réunion doit être focus sur la résolution des problèmes. On doit planifier les projets. On doit revoir les performances. On doit prendre des décisions et toujours aligner les intérêts de tout le monde afin d'éviter les conflits dans les points de vue.
Okay, you might want to check your internet.
Donc, il nous dit aussi que le leadership permet d'atteindre les résultats. Et pour cela, l'empathie pour les grandes réunions. parce que ça permet de développer l'intelligence et les compétences émotionnelles du staff et de tout le management. Donc, l'empathie, c'est quelque chose dont on doit tenir compte lorsqu'on est dans les mouvements de groupe, afin que les choses soient faites dans la joie. Et pour ça, il recommande un certain nombre de styles qu'un leader doit avoir, comme la cohésion, l'autorité, l'affiliation, la démocratie, le laisser faire, le coaching. Bref, pour lui, le leadership doit être situationnel. Il faut adapter le type de commandement à chaque situation, ne pas seulement faire pour faire. Ce n'est pas ça l'essentiel. Donc, il partage avec nous un guide de comment faire pour qu'une réunion soit efficace, comme par exemple toujours analyser les objectifs et les rendre clairs, ces objectifs-là, et inviter les gens à temps, distribuer les rôles assez tôt pour que les gens se préparent, toujours avoir un ordre du jour et le donner en avance aux différentes personnes qui doivent intervenir à la réunion, mettre les règles du jeu, manager en tenant compte des humeurs des uns et des autres, faire le suivi. Il dit, les réunions qui réussissent sont celles pour lesquelles les objectifs ont été atteints et que chaque participant, chaque collègue y a mis du soi. Donc voilà ce que Tony recommande pour une bonne réunion, pour qu'une réunion soit efficace. Et globalement, il dit aussi, il faut savoir sélectionner l'espace où on doit travailler et surtout prendre des notes. Donc lorsqu'on veut faire une réunion, il faut désigner le secrétaire du jour, qui est celui qui doit prendre les notes. Alors, il partage aussi 4 choses qu'on doit avoir pour qu'une réunion soit effective. Chaque réunion doit ne pas venir sur une réunion aborder des sujets qui n'étaient pas prévus. C'est ça le problème. Et de chaque réunion, et puis faire les réunions doivent aussi dépendre de la plateforme. Donc, ne pas utiliser des plateformes inappropriées pour un certain type de réunion. Les objectifs doivent être définis et distribués à tout le monde avant. Et on doit aussi avoir un ordre du jour, ça je l'ai déjà dit. Et chaque réunion doit avoir un leader. Make it a meeting of the mind. Donc, je ne vais vraiment pas faire le tour de tout. Il recommande aussi qu'il faut toujours finir une réunion avec action. En fait, c'est ça le but de la réunion. Lorsqu'on fait une réunion, avant la clôture, on va finir avec l'exécution. Donc, l'exécution doit toujours tenir compte d'un plan. Il faut ce qui doit être fait. L'exécution, c'est
Coco, we're not hearing you properly.
Okay, I think Foko has dropped off the call due to internet issues.
Okay, so let's take some comments. While we're waiting for Foko to come back.
Okay. So we have a comment from Sandra Kimska. Thank you so much for the session. Indeed, we shall put into practice and build to last, not forgetting upholding discipline in all that we do. Vakshia, she said, hard work and continuous practice are key to helping someone to get to the top. I will embrace hard work just like TOE and leave as an example worthy of emulation by my employees. Maggie said, I have learned that having an idea alone is not enough, but to implement and get things done and being diligent is also key. Helping traders. It is through meetings that we can energize our organization. Mid-Here Africa, build companies with legacy in mind, whose structures create strong teams, reward excellence. Infinity Briquette, hard work pays. When the team is focused and disciplined, when the team focused and disciplined is employed, it's very easy to implement business plans successfully. St. Mark said, I can now plan for and carry out productive meetings that are focused. Thanks, Madam Angela. Ibrahim Musa said, hardworking, careful planning, structure, and hiring the right people result success or will bring about success to your organization. John Bosco said, deadline is key when it comes to delivering tasks. As a tech startup founder, deadline has been a key part of me since my business and product management journey. Semester said, I have learned so much, especially the title of the book, Outliers, which I have just downloaded, and I'll read to apply everything that will be useful to me. Mwachukwu Josephine Ngozi said, meetings are very important in organizations. Things get done from a meeting. African Food Affairs, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for this incredibly insightful and informative program. It has truly opened my eyes and educated me in so many aspects of my business that I previously do not know. Thank you so much, Madam. Harriet, I have learned that good governance is key to success and hard work pays. Might you want me to keep going because we still have a lot of comments?
Yes, because this is wrapping up the session. So
Okay.
let's take the feedback.
Okay, ma'am. So Edison said, I have come to see that meetings have a vital role in the growth of a business or company. Happiness said, having a culture in an organization helps to know its tasks and works towards its success. Okay, African Food Affairs again. I have gained invaluable knowledge and skills that will undoubtedly propel my business forward. The support, guidance, and wisdom shared in this session have been nothing short of transformative. Caritas Collect, I have learned that institutionalization and proper governance is very important for a company, especially equally hiring should be intentional and technical. Moreover, compensation for good work is important. Semasa said, I have also learned the importance of having a to-do list and sticking to it with discipline.
Okay. I think I think they're all saying the same sort of things, but I just want to thank you all for your feedback. Very useful. For me, it's the feedback is as important as my sharing the TOE business values and the TOE way, because I get to hear from you about how you work and how these business values resonate with you. So thank you all for your feedback. Thank you all for the session today. Our next session is next week, webinar 3. And thank Adora. Sorry about to the French, the Francophone team. Sorry about Foco dropping off. He must have had internet challenges because he's dropped off, but I'm sure you'll be able to catch up with the information that he shared. Thank you so much, everyone, and look forward. Adora, thank you. All right. You're muted.
Apologies. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for staying through to the end and for your feedback and comments. We hope to see you at the next session. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Madam Angela, as well.